Moycullen House is 8 miles from Galway, overlooking Lough Corrib. It's a fine, substantial place, the home of Mrs. Phyllis Casburn and her family, and it stands in 50 acres of decorative gardens and hills.
When we first came, of course, it was in a very run-down condition, like old houses are, and it had only been used for a hunting lodge, you see, previously, and there was a caretaker here for, about 20 years, I'd say, and he looked after the house, and then people came from London, and an odd surgeon or two came down for a quiet holiday for a month, and then the house would be left empty again, you see.
It's in an ideal situation because it's quite near Lough Corrib. In fact, you can see Lough Corrib on what you might call a clear day.
Oh, you can even on a dull day if you've got your glasses on.
It's in its own grounds. You've got a lot of nice shrubs and flowering trees and so on.
Yes.
And 7 bedrooms.
7 guest bedrooms.
7 guest bedrooms.
Yes.
How are the guest bedrooms furnished?
Well, if they want a double bed, they can have double bed. If they want the single beds, you know, what they call the double-bedded rooms, they can have a double-bedded room. But most of the rooms have a double bed and a single bed. Mm-hmm. And if they want 3 single beds, well, we take the double out and put the 3 in.
What about children, Phyllis? Cots and things like that. Is it possible to get cots?
I have a cot, and I have bunk beds, which aren't used very often, but if they're small children and they want to be in the same room, we can, or if they want to go in with their parents.
What sort of people do you get then?
They're a pretty cross-section. We've had an awful lot of foreigners, of course. There aren't many countries that haven't paid us a visit. We used to have quite a lot of English people too, but not quite so many now. But we're hoping this year they'll be back again.
Things might buck up.
We don't have a great number of Irish people, but we get quite a few.
Why is that, do you think? Is it because this area is not particularly well known to a lot of Irish people?
I think that could be it, because even local people, in the 10 years we have been here, they've come out to see us and said, my God, we didn't know a house like this existed anywhere near so close to Galway.
Of course.
You see, we're only 8 miles from the city.
Right.
And 8 miles from Oughterard, 8 miles from Spiddal.
Yeah.
And 3 from Barna, where all the lovely beaches are.
Would you say that you were a typical guest house operator for this part of the country?
Oh, most definitely not. I don't think there's another one like me, actually.
Why do you say that?
Well, I think possibly it's the life I've led. I mean, I lived through a war and had to help out with a sort of voluntary work with canteens and had to make something tasty out of nothing sort of thing, you know, when rationing was on. And then I was tied up with stage for a long, long time, and you learn how to get through to people, and if they're a bit unhappy, it worries you until you see a smile. You say, now, am I cooking the right food? And I wonder what they would like.
So running a guest house, you feel, is a very personal thing as far as you're concerned.
Absolutely. And you have to know, too, the people that want leaving alone. And if they go up to their room, you don't go knocking on the door and say, are you ill? Do you need the doctor? You know, you just say, well, they want a bit of peace and quiet. And if they want me, there's a little bell in the room. They just ring the bell and we go up and find out what the trouble is.
Phyllis, catering for up to 20 people at one time must present problems. For instance, you do a lot of your own baking, do you?
Yes, I like to do all my own baking because they appreciate it, you know. And sometimes you get wives that are working and they don't have the time to do the amount of cooking. And I think that your holiday really now, if you have a good bed and you have good food, I think that plays a big part.
Oh, indeed, I think everybody would agree on that. I see you've got some gooseberries here. You obviously make gooseberry tarts as well.
Yes, they're from our garden. I deep freeze them, and I have one in the oven if I don't get it out.
The deep freeze is a great help, of course, obviously, isn't it?
It's marvellous.
That looks very nice indeed.
I hope it'll taste as good as it looks.
I'll let you know that later on. What would you say, Phyllis, brings people to a guest house in this part of the country? What is there for them to do? Well, there's really quite a lot. I mean, for instance, we are convenient here to just 4 miles away. There's all these lovely little beaches, and incidentally, Cathal, in the last 2 years, you can get cups of tea down at one of the beaches and ice cream, which is handy if you're sitting with the children on a nice day. And then there's all kinds of fishing, the deep sea fishing, and then there's Lough Corrib, the fishing on, and of course boating. If children don't want to fish, they can boat, and you can hire bicycles. We take them in the Land Rover and we pick up a bicycle for them if they want, or 2 or 3 bicycles.
So there's plenty really for people to do and see.
Oh,
touring, I'd imagine, would be...
well, a lot of them do like to tour. And that's the beauty of a spot like this. If it's hot, there's so much to do. Swimming, boating. We've about 5 lawns here. They can lounge around on the lawns because we never mind that, you know. Or they can go down to the beaches.
And what about the kids? What is there for them to do?
Well, we've a big dog. Every kid loves this dog. And we have a pony, Spiddal, and he'll eat out of the hand. He won't eat the hand, but he'll eat out of it because he's very, very tame. And we swings out there for them. And there's so much ground here they can play without getting, well, the parents worrying about cars and things like that.
Well, would you say, in fact, that a car is essential if you're going to spend a holiday in a comparatively isolated place like this?
Well, I would, Cahill, if there's children. Otherwise they are, well, mind you, we look after the children after the evening meal if the parents want to go out. If the children go to bed, okay, and if the children don't, well, I see they go later on when the parents say they go. Oh, we play a few games in there with them, you know, and we say, well, look at the time, another 5 minutes and
up to bed.
Yes.
No.
We do, yes. We have our own.
Tell me when I've got to stop.
Mrs. Casburn prides herself on her table, and certainly the evening meal is filling. Smoked mackerel, homemade soup, roast beef, and her own pies. And Moycullen House has a wine licence and supports a modest cellar. You can linger over your dinner, and coffee is usually served in the lounge. There's an unhurried air about the place, and no suggestion that you should eat up and get out. Guests are left to their own devices pretty well and use the whole house as their own.
Lovely. That was a lovely meal indeed.
Was it?
It was indeed. Five courses, including coffee. Is that what your guests would normally have?
Oh, yes. Definitely, always.
It's a very generous and a very filling meal.
Yes, but they always eat it, Cahill. What can I do?
Nobody goes hungry.
It's sort of
There's
rather
no doubt about that. What about, is there any choice? Do they get any choice of main dishes or choice of anything at all? They must take what they get.
Well, we ask them what they like and what they don't like. And on the whole, nobody wants to know what they're going to have until they sit down.
Yeah.
Anybody will bear me out on that because they love it to be a surprise, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So...
And everybody, they're always satisfied with what they get, quite
Oh,
obviously. What about
yes.
breakfast? I mean, do you give them a full breakfast?
If they want it, they're allowed to say what they want. I mean, the full breakfast is, as I've told you, a choice of cereals, and always orange juice, of course. And then there's a full breakfast of rashers and sausage, and if they want black or white pudding, they can even have that, and there's tomato and there's eggs, brown bread, white bread, toast, homemade marmalade.
Great. Suppose, Phyllis, you wanted to stay for 2 or 3 days. I mean, do you do a bed and breakfast rate as well, for instance?
Yes, the bed and breakfast is $175, and the dinner is $150. And if they don't want dinner, they can just have the bed and breakfast. We don't mind one little bit.
Although it obviously makes more work for you. You'd sooner have them stay for a week or a fortnight, presumably.
Well, we kind of get to know them.
Yeah.
But we don't mind if they're touring, you know, and they want to go off somewhere else. And they might come here on the way back.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel yourself that places like yours are well enough known to people in this country?
No, I wouldn't say so, but I've never really bothered to try to sort of spread the good news, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's. I must say that I'm impressed because I think that it's possibly one of the best value holidays that you could possibly have.
Do you think so? I'm
do
glad to hear
indeed.
that.